Guys online, hi people. So a very good morning. Can you hear me and see me? Can you hear me and see me? Hello. Perfect, perfect. Very good, excellent. Right? Very good and excellent. Okay. So children, we have a very long day today. I'm going to talk a lot of things today, right? Right? So before I start, hope you all are doing well and fine. Hope you all are doing well and fine. I'm seeing you all after 1 week. We were supposed to meet yesterday night, but then because of today's session, we're meeting here today, right? So, what do you all think of this setup? What do you all think of this setup? I mean, is it good or do you think my normal setup is good? What do you think? Right. So, let's do a class here and see how is it going on, children, right? So, today my main motive is, right? Today my main motive, right? My motive is, right? What do you want to achieve from this session? Number one, unit one, and number two, unit two. Intro to business and business environment. Then you have BSR, business social responsibility and ethics. These two chapters I have completed within the last 3 months, right? I have taken the last 3 months. We did chapters, we did questions, we did papers, except for this, right? Now, children, today I will be recapping both of these chapters, right? Okay, there is going to be a recap of both of these chapters in whole, right? So, එක හොඳටම මතක තියාගන්න ළමයි, you all have to be very attentive with me, right? So, it's going to be like a seminar X revision program, right? So, you are going to, I'm going to summarize all of these and give you a glimpse to remember, right? I am going to give you a glimpse to remember all of these. Plus, you will be recapping all of these areas with me today, right? So, does it sound good? Do you all want anything else? Does it sound good, guys? So, I'll tell you something, okay? When it comes to this setup and this session today, right? I need your bloody 110% of focus. 110% focus should be there with me when y'all are doing this session. You can't be in your phones, you can't be in your TikToks, you can't be in your Snapchats, you can't be in your OnlyFans, Tinder. No, no, no. මාත් එක්ක ඉන්න ඕනේ උඹලා. Right? මාත් එක්ක උඹලා ඉන්න ඕනේ. And ළමයි, I'm telling you all have to be very, very, very attentive in the chat box. If you all are attentive in the chat box only, children, we will be able to achieve this, right? So, do you all understand the basic rules? Number one, focus. Number two, very, very attentive, right? When I ask you all a question, you all have to respond immediately, right? You all have to respond immediately. That is what I am expecting from you all in today's session, right? So, is it clear, guys, what I want from you all? Is it clear? Is it clear? Okay. So, guys, to get this session, I had to get a classroom. I had to get the camera. All these did not come free and cheap, right? I had to invest. I am not doing it for me, guys. I'm doing it for you all. So, get the best out of this session today, right? So, get the best out of this session today. Okay. So, Lamai, if I'm starting, let's start off with unit 1 today. Unit 1. Right? So, unit 1 is all about intro to business plus business environment. Intro to business plus business environment. So, children, gannavanang other, right? So, let's start with the base. Let's all start with the base. So we'll start off with the concept of businesses, right? On the first day of the class, we spoke about something called needs and wants, right? So can you all elaborate? Can you all tell me what the hell is this need and what the hell is this want? Can you all be quick in the chat box, Lamai? Be quick, huh? Tell me what is needs and tell me what is wants. So you all have to tell me, guys. Needs kiyanne මොකද්ද මේ wants kiyanne මොකද්ද කියලා. ටක් ගාලා ළමයි කියන්න. All of y'all, come on, people. Exactly. Needs are considered to be the essential for living. Essential for living. Right? You need these factors for living. Right? Meva natuwa bෑ. Right? So these are the basic essential you require for living, Lamai. While wants are the various ways of fulfilling needs. The various ways of fulfilling needs is known as wants, right? So for an example keyword, a need, an example of a need is food. We need to live. And a way of fulfilling that food, burgers, submarines, pastas, lasagnas, yeah, you can go on and on and on, right? So those are the basically needs and wants. Now when we take the differences between needs and when we take the differences between wants, needs, wants. Number one difference, Lamai. Number one difference. Needs are what basically essentials for living. You need these factors for living. While wants, are they essential, Lamai? Are wants essential? Are wants essential or not? You have to summarize. You have to revise with me, children. Right? Are wants essential? Are wants essential? Nah. Wants are not essential for living. Right? Wants are not essentials for living. Then number two, children, while needs are limited, right? People's needs are limited, right? We don't have unlimited needs, right? Food, water, shelter, air, clothing, it's a countable factor. But wants, the various ways of fulfilling the needs, are they limited, children? They are not limited, right? Pasta, burger, submarine, iPhone 16, iPad, iWatch, AirPods, can go on and on and on and on and on and on, right? I can even tell my wants for one whole day, right? So wants are not limited, right? They are not limited, which means they are unlimited, children. Now, what is the next factor? What is the next factor? What is the next factor, Lamai? What is the next factor? Next factor එක මොකක්ද ළමයි? Next factor එක. Next factor එක. Exactly. Needs are common, right? You also want water, I also want water. You also want shelter, I also want shelter. You want clothing, I want clothing. Our needs are common. But you may like pasta, I may not like pasta. I may like rice and curry, you may not like rice and curry. The different ways of fulfilling the needs, which are known as wants. Yours is different, mine is different, children. So these wants are basically, it's going to vary person to person, where you can call it subjective, right? And finally, a need is something you cannot create. A need is something which cannot be created, while a want is something that can be created, right? For an example, Kottu is never a need, but Kottu was a want and that was created. So these are the differences between needs and wants, children. Make a clear than other. Clear than other. Tell me, is it 100% crystal clear or not? Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Great. Right? Great. So now needs and wants are these, right? We have summarized, right? Anyone has any questions here? Anyone has any questions? Perfect. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Okay. Now, children, now, right? In order to fulfill your needs and wants, you need something. What is that? In order to fulfill your needs and wants, you need something. What something? What is that something? ඒ something එක මොකක්ද ළමයි? Tell me. That something or anything or whatever it is to fulfill that needs and wants. Anna right mage ළමයි ටික. You need something called product. And this product can be known as anything which is going to fulfill your human needs and wants. So we took product mainly as two goods. Goods and services. But I have clearly told you all, guys, product is not only limited to goods and services. It can be humans, it can be your thinking, it can be a person, it can be a knowledge, it can be a time. Every bloody thing is a product. Because I am investing myself for you all. I am fulfilling your needs and wants. I am a product. My knowledge is a product. My time is a product, Lamai. So product. And in order to get this product, where do you go to? In order to get this product, where do you go to? කොහෙද යන්නේ ළමයි මේ ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එක ගන්න? කොහෙද යන්නේ? කොහෙද යන්නේ? අන්න right. Market එකට. Right? You go to the market. So market can be known as any situation ළමයි. Any mechanism where two people meets. Who are these two people ළමයි? Who are these two people? Where two people meets and who are these two people ළමයි? කවුද මේ දෙන්න? මේ කොල්ලයි කෙල්ලයි කවුද? මෙතන හම් වෙන කොල්ලයි කෙල්ලයි. ඒ කවුද? Anna right. Where the buyer plus seller meets. Right? Where the buyer plus seller meets. That is known as the market, right? A place where these two buggers interact. A situation where these two buggers interact. And when you take the market, there are two forms of markets, lamai. What are the two forms of market? What are the two forms of market? Kiyanna lamai mata? Two forms. Exactly. Place and space, right? Marketplace and market space. If the buyer and the seller is meeting face to face, physically, you call it marketplace. If the buyer and the seller is meeting virtually, through online, you call it a space. Physical nang place, virtual nang space. Right? If you all are coming to a physical class, I am the seller, you are the buyer. Space. If you are coming to an online class, it's going to be space. Temu, Alibaba, Amazon, all of these factors are coming under space, lamai. While children, you are going to a fish market and buying fish. You are going to a vegetable market and buying vegetables. You are going to a clothing store and buying clothes. Physical spaces. You call it the marketplace, while that's known as a market space. Right? So, මෙතනට වෙනකන් තේරුණාද ළමයි? මෙතනට වෙනකන් තේරුණාද? Have you all got it up to now? All of you all tell me, you all have to be bloody responsive. Right? You all have to be bloody responsive. Right? Okay? Hamoma. Perfect. And after that, children, in the market, when you go to the market, you do something. What is that something? Not a naughty thing. What do you do in that market? You exactly right, you demand. Right? You go and demand, children. You go to the market and you bugger will be demanding. Mata meka deepa. Have a make a denna umbata. Make a gunna. If you as a customer, if you want to demand, you need to have two factors, lamai. What are that two factors? As a customer, if you want to demand to purchase a product, you need to have two factors. What are that two factors? Come on, tell me. Anna right. Number one is the ability. Ability kiyanne මොකක්ද ළමයි? The salli. You need to have the salli. You need to have the money. You need to have the kuluf. You need to have, let's say, the paisa. Paisa එක නැතුව ළමයි. Salli නැතුව market එකට ගිහිල්ලා ඇහුවොත් මට කුත්තුවක් දෙන්න කන පැලෙන්න දෙයියට එකක්. Right? They will give you a nice thundering slap. අයියේ කුත්තුවක් දෙන්න සල්ලි නැහැ. කන පැලෙන්න දෙයි එකක්. So you need to have that ability ළමයි. Ability කියන දේ ඕනේ ළමයි. Right? After the ability ළමයි, you need to have something called the willingness. දැන් ළමයි willingness එක කියන්නේ your liking. උඹට ආසාවක් නැත්තම් බඩුවක් ගන්න, තෝ ගන්නවද ඒ බඩුව? උඹට ආසාවක් නැත්තම් ඒ බඩුව ගන්න, තෝ ගන්නවද? Definitely නෑ. You need to have the willingness, you need to have the liking to go and get that product. If I like ice cream, only I will go to the market and find the ice cream. But I can't not only have the liking. If I like ice cream, I need to have the money to buy that ice cream also. නැත්තම් බෑ ළමයි. liking එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ, ability එකක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ. තේරෙනවද නැද්ද ළමයි? තේරෙනවද නැද්ද? මේක තේරෙනවද නැද්ද ළමයි? The demand, ability and willingness. So demand is where you go to a market and you have the ability and the willingness to purchase a product, right? So now lamai, when you demand, you will have to go through something called exchange and transaction, right? You will have to go through something called exchange and transaction. Exchange is where you are transferring one valuable to another valuable. You are transferring one valuable to another valuable. What do you call it, children? You call it exchange. Or ekak dila tawa ekak gannawa. Tell me, children, a very important question. Is money involved in an exchange? Is money involved in an exchange or not? Salli කියන දේ involved ද නැද්ද? Salli කියන දේ involved ද නැද්ද? Exactly right. In an exchange, no money is involved. Not involved. But in a transaction, where you are transferring one valuable for a monetary value. In here, lamai, money, right, in a transaction is the same thing as exchange, but money is involved. But in exchange, money is not bloody involved. ඒක තේරුණාද ළමයි? ඒක තේරුණාද? ඒක තේරුණාද? හොඳටම තේරුණාද ළමයි ඒක? Did you all get it? All of y'all, is it crystal clear? 100% perfect? Make a serious always now. Will you bloody forget this? Will you forget it up to now? If you forget it, I'm going to come and kill you. Right? You can't forget it until now, children. Dang, වෙනකම් මේක අමතක වුණොත් උඹලට පිස්සු මාව පිස්සෙක් කරන්න එපා. Right? So until now මේක බොක්කෙම්ම ඔළුවේ වැදිලා තියෙන්න ඕනේ. Right? බොක්කෙම්ම ඔළුවේ වැදිලා තියෙන්න ඕනේ. Right? And when you would have an exchange and transaction, after that, children, you get something called a value and customer satisfaction. Value and customer satisfaction. What the hell is a value? Value is basically an estimation a customer is giving for the product. You may buy a kottu for 1,000, but that kottu may not taste good. And you feel this is not worth 1,000. This is worth like 200 bucks. That is the estimation you're giving for the product. And that is the value. So value is basically what you get, or basically the estimation given by a customer for a product, right? The estimation given by a customer for a product is known as value. Why customer satisfaction, children? Customer satisfaction kiyanne the ability of the product. The ability of the product to live up to standard. Is your product fulfilling your expectations? If your product is fulfilling your expectations, are you satisfied or not? Are you satisfied or not? If the product is fulfilling your expectations, are you satisfied or not, children? Mata kiyanna. Yes. If your product is not fulfilling the satisfaction, your expectations, if your product is not fulfilling the expectations, are you satisfied or not, children? Are you satisfied or not? Perfect. Perfect. So, Lamai, this is the concepts. These are the 7 concepts. 7 concepts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 7 concepts in a business. Is this 100% bloody clear? Is this 100% bloody clear? ඔළුවේ තියනවාද ළමයි මේක? මේක ඔළුවේ තියනවාද? Guys, come on. You all need to have that response. You get that energy. Get that energy. Come on, boys and girls. Perfect. 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 Guys, Riha, use the main chat. Use the main chat. Right? Use the main chat. Right? Anna, right. So, Lamai, then make amataka another. Make amataka another. Sometimes you will be tested, Lamai. Define or explain the relationship between how a need and want end up in a customer satisfaction, how a need and want leads to a demand, how a need and want leads to an exchange. You can't say how questions will be tested, right? So you need to be ready for every possible scenario because you can't predict the paper. So in order to be ready for every possible scenario, what needs to happen, children? You need to make sure that you are bloody thorough with all of these. You are 100% thorough with all of these, right? Concept number 1 has been revised successfully, right? Terunada, Terunada, Terunada Lamai Maker. Can I have one final yes before I go into the next area? One final yes before we go into the next area? Right. Perfect. Perfect, children. Perfect. Now, children. Now, children. Next concept. Now we are going to talk of what the hell is this business, right? What the hell is this business, right? So, business එකක් කියලා ගත්තොත් ළමයි. Business එකක් කියලා ගත්තොත්, right? Basically, a business is an economic activity. Business is an economic activity. Mama kila tino lamai, business is an economic activity. I will tell you why is it an economic activity. Remember very well, children, I am not teaching here, I am revising here. Right? Teaching we take a very long time. Revising, we go fast. Right? If business is an economic activity which fulfills human needs and wants using a product which fulfills human needs and wants using a product, right? So, Lamai Katut, why is this business called an economic activity? Why is this business fulfilling human needs and wants? And it's using a product. Why is number 1 the business fulfilling human needs and wants? Because we can't fulfill all these human needs and wants by ourselves. We have to depend on another person to fulfill these needs and wants. That's where the business comes in, right? The business comes in to fulfill our needs and wants on behalf of us. And a business is called an economic activity, children, because it undergoes the activities of, what are the 3 activities a business undergoes, Lamai? What are the 3 activities a business undergoes? What are the 3 activities a business undergoes? Tell me, come on. Guys online, you all have to tell me what are the 3 activities a business undergoes. What? Come on. Exactly. Number 1, production. It's involved in the production of goods and services. Number 2, it is involved in what? The distribution of goods and services. And number 3, children, it is involved in something called selling of goods and services, right? It is involved in production, distribution, and selling using, children, limited what? Limited what, children? We use limited resources to fulfill unlimited what, children? Unlimited wants. The two big problems in economics: limited resources, unlimited wants, scarcity. That's why economics is there, children. Y'all would have learned somewhere. And because of these 2 problems, a business is involved in fulfilling unlimited wants using limited resources by involving the activities of production, distribution, and selling using a product. So business can be considered as an economic activity which fulfills human needs and wants using a product. තේරුණාද නැද්ද ළමයි? තේරුණාද නැද්ද? මේක තේරුණාද නැද්ද? මේක කියලා දීලා තියෙන්නේ ළමයි. මේක තේරුණාද නැද්ද? Right? Is it 100% bloody crystal clear? ඒක කියන්න මට. 100% crystal clear or not, right? So you all have to keep on revising, keep the tute with you nearby, and keep on revising what are the areas you are doing. Is this refreshing your mind? Is it? Are you remembering everything what we have done now? Are you remembering? මේක මතක හිටිනවද? මතක හිටිනවද ළමයි මේක? මතක හිටිනවද? Perfect, perfect. Now, next one, Lamai, we are going to talk about the characteristics of a business. We are going to talk about the characteristics of a business, the features, right? Number one, every business is involved in something called an exchange or selling, right? Every business is involved in something called exchange or selling, Lamai, right? This is where basically they give one product and take one product. Oh, they sell a product lamai. Ekak dila, ekak gannawa. Very common. Highly tested area. Highly tested area. They give something and take something. Can be known as an exchange. But in exchange, is there a monetary value involved? No. There is no monetary value involved in an exchange. Right? So that is number one. Selling can involve a monetary value where you give one product and get money, right? That is selling, a very number one common characteristic of a business. Number two, they have transactions of goods and services. Transaction of goods and services. Every business will have thousands and thousands of transactions, children. You all will learn in accounting also. How many transactions, how many debits, how many credits. You all have seen, right? Credits and debits going all over in accounting. ඒ වගේම තමයි ළමයි. Every business will involved in an exchange which includes a monetary value, right? And when that exchange is including a monetary value, it's not only involved in goods and services. It can be involved in people also, right? You are getting an effort from a person and you're giving him a salary. That is a transaction. That is a transaction, children, right? So number two is transaction of goods and services. Number three, children, continuous transactions, right? A very important and a very good characteristic is continuous transactions. If a business is involved in a one-way transaction, එක සැරයක් කරනවා නම්, your father is selling the house, that is not a business. But your father's job is buying and selling houses. Is that a business, children? Is that a business? If your father's job is buying houses and selling houses, is that a business? Yes, that is a business. That is a business, children, right? Okay, if your father is just selling his car used, that is not a business. That is just one transaction. But if your father's job is buying houses, selling houses, that is a business, Lamai. Continuous transactions. And number four, every business is commonly motivated by profit, right? Motivated by profit. They start a business with one motive, increasing their wealth or increasing their income. That is their main motive. Why do you think I have started this? One day I am going to increase my wealth. I am going to increase my income. That is your motivation. Why are you starting a business? Profits and additional income or increase in wealth. A very common characteristic. And number five is having a risk. Having a risk, lamai. Having a risk. What do you call this risk? Risk එකක් කියන්නේ lamai, an uncertainty of something happening. Uncertainty. Oh, let's say you can't predict a bad thing happening, right? Businesses face many risks. Business may not make profits. That is a risk. A business may get caught on fire. The business's machineries may break down. Employees may leave. Employees may steal. Employees may, let's say, be injured. All of these are risks, lamai. You can't stop it. Even we have risks in our life. You can't stop it, right? හැබැයි මතක තියාගන්න ළමයි, ඔය risk කියන දේ ජීවිතේ ගත්තේ නැත්තම් return එකක් කියලා දෙයක් නැහැ, right? ඔයාට ජීවිතේ higher return එකක් ඕන නම් risk කියලා දෙයක් ගන්න ඕනේ. හැබැයි මෝඩ විදියට risk ගන්න හොඳ නැහැ. Calculated risk එකක් ගන්න ඕනේ ළමයි. Every day when you are taking a risk, that risk should be calculated. And ළමයි මතක තියාගන්න, ඔයා ගන්න risk එක, you need to make sure 110% you can face it. right? Then ඔයා පාර මැදට ගිහිල්ලා බස් එකක් එද්දි about 100 kilometers per hour මැදින් එහෙම හිටියානම් ඕව ගහලා යයි. ඒ රිස්ක් එක ඔයාට ගන්න පුළුවන්ද? ඒ රිස්ක් එක ගන්න බෑ. හැබැයි ඔය ගද්දි calculated risk එකක් ගන්න මම කියන්නේ. That doesn't mean I'm not telling you to go and stay in middle of a road and get knocked to a bus, right? In the world, in your life, you all might take risks. Starting a business, doing that, doing this. Me starting BS was a very big risk. Invested so much of money, time, effort, everything. What if I lose? I will survive. I have calculated that risk. I know I can bear that risk. But I know that I won't give up, right? So that's why, Lamai, I know this risk is a factor I can have. Higher the risk, higher the return. You need to be a risk taker. Risk taker in your life. If you want to survive, you need to be a risk taker. So risk කියන දේ ගන්න ළමයි හැමතිස්සෙම. තේරෙනවද? තේරෙනවද risk කියන දේ තේරෙනවද ළමයි? Uncertainty, right? So of something happening. Next children, every business will create something called a want, right? We'll create something called a want. We have a need of entertainment. Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, created wants by creating an iPhone, creating an iPad, creating a MacBook, AirPods, blah, blah, blah. Wants were created. Plaza Pilaus, famous of Kottu. What did they do? They created a want of Kottu. People want Kottu. They are fulfilling their need of food using Kottu. Right? තේරෙනවනේ ළමයි එක? ඒක clearද? Is it up to now clear? And finally, every business is an economic activity. Every business is an economic activity where they fulfill unlimited wants using limited resources by involving themselves in the activities of production, distribution, and sales. We have spoken about this, right? Is this clear? Is the 7 characteristics clear? This is a highly tested area in your exam. It has been tested in your past papers in a very, very massive way, right? So, Lamai, is this clear, children? Is this clear? Is it 100% okay? 100% okay? Okay. So just take a minute and just go through what we have done now. Just take a minute and go through what we have done now. Okay. So have you all basically gone through? Is everything okay up to now, children? Is it okay up to now? Is it okay? Is it okay, children, up to now? Shall we move into the next area? Now we are going to talk about two very important factors, which is known as, right, the two main activities of a business. When you take a business, they are involved in two main activities. They are involved in two main activities, right? A business, the main activities of a business, Lamai. Number one, children, is fulfilling human needs and wants. Very simple, right? A business is involved. You need to know to explain this also, right? People have needs and wants, and we can't fulfill it on our own. You can't study BS on your own. That's why you're coming to me, right? As people cannot fulfill their own needs and wants by themselves. That is why they have to depend on a business. And one of the main activities of a business is fulfilling these human needs and wants. And number two, children, this is where they are adding value to the resources. Adding value to the resources. Right? Adding value to the resources. Every business, children, every business will be involved in getting the inputs of the business. That means all the raw materials, and during the process they will be adding value. Inputs are bought into the company and process එකේදී during the process අර process වෙන වෙලාවේ මේ value එකක් add වෙනවා ළමයි මේකට. right? And when you add value to that, only you are going to get the final output, which is the good or service, right? Because remember, children, every business is involved in bringing in the raw materials, adding in the value, and giving it out. This is where the inputs of the business go through a transformation process to a final good or service. That is what creates that final good. The value added by the business is what creates that final good, children. Because if a business is not able to add value to the inputs they bring in, it is not going to create a final good, right? Eka mataka tiyaganna. Two main activities of the business. Two main activities of the business, children, right? Right? Two main activities of the business. So is this clear? This also has been a very tested area in your MCQs mostly, and your part paper one, the writing area. So make a clear the is it 100% crystal clear? All of y'all tell me yes or no, yes or no. Right? Perfect. Perfect. Now we are going to come into something called vision, mission, goals, and objectives. Let me have a sip of water before that. Right? Vision, mission, goals, and objectives, children. Right? Now, children, in your life as a business, you might have something called a vision. You might have something called a vision. What do you mean by a vision? What do you mean by vision? At the end of the day, at the end of the day, how do you want to be? What is your long term aspiration? Where are you heading towards? What is your end destination? What is your final destination? Right? Have you all watched Final Destination, Lamai? Have you all watched Final Destination? Balatinad. Balatinad's Final Destination. Now, don't tell me I want to be this thing uh, dead by a bus knocking me or something. That should not be a vision. Have a proper vision. One day I have a vision. Very good vision. I want to be one of the greatest lecturers and I want to be one of the greatest businessmen in the world and in Sri Lanka. My vision. That's my final destination, Lama. I don't know, but I may even die tomorrow, right? I may even die tomorrow, right? That is my vision. Where am I heading towards? What is your final destination or a final destination, Nikalamai? The long term aspiration of the business, all of these is known as your vision. And in order to achieve that, you need to have a purpose, right? Okay, I want to be one of the greatest lecturers. I want to be one of the greatest businessmen. In order to achieve that final destination, you need to have something called a mission. What is that mission, children? What is that mission? What do you call that mission? Mission is the reason why are you doing it. Okay, the purpose. I karanne. Why? All of these factors are answered in a mission. Your purpose, children. Your purpose, right? Your purpose of doing it. And what is your purpose? I have a very clear purpose. My purpose is creating impacts. I need to impact someone's life. Okay, if I impact someone's life, only I will be able to reach their final destination. Mama karna දෙයින් ළමයි. මම කරන දෙයින් ඕගොල්ලන්ට positive impact එකක් එන්න ඕනේ. ඒ positive impact එක ආවොත් විතරයි ළමයි. It is going to create a very plus point, right? අර plus point කියන දේ create වෙන්නේ මේ mission එකකින් purpose එක හැදුවොත් විතරයි. And your vision and mission will be achieved by something called what? In order to achieve your purpose and in order to achieve your mission, you have something. What is that? What is that, children? Okay, in order to achieve your mission and vision, what do you need to have? Come on, guys, where the hell are y'all? Right? Exactly. You need to have something called goals, right? Goals are known as what, children? Goals are known as your long term, right? Your long term expectations, long term expectations of the business. What do you want to achieve in the long term, right? Okay, let's say, for example, you take myself, right? What I want is I need to have a sustainable class, sustainable level of students, right? Then a good sustainable business, a growing business, sustainable income. I need to achieve those factors. Those are my aims. Hari, ජීවිතයට මොකද්ද achieve කරන්න ඕනේ? ඒ factors ටික තමයි goal එකක් කියන්නේ. Your long term expectations. Or you can call it the long term results you want to achieve, right? That is goals. And the steps of achieving that goal. Okay, I need to have a sustainable class. To have that sustainable BS class, I need to achieve something objectives. These are known as the steps. These are known as the steps or actions of achieving a goal. The steps or actions of achieving a goal is known as basically an objective. And whenever you are setting an objective, right, you need to be smart. What do you mean by smart? You need to be specific. What do you mean by specific? ඔයා set කරන අර objective එක, it should always be specific to your goal. It should be specific to your goal. Right? Now let's say you have a goal of achieving 3 A's. And let's say you are having an objective, and that objective is eating and sleeping. Is it specific to your goal? Is it connected to your goal? Eating and sleeping. But the goal is 3 A's. Specific or not? Children, can you all respond? You all have to be active. Rule number 2, focus, active. Right? Exactly. No, you have to be specific. Number 1. Number 2, it should be measurable. Whatever the objectives you set should be measurable. Right? Eka measure karaganda puluwan nang. I am studying. Okay, I have to revise. What are you revising? Measurable. Number 3, it should be achievable. You can't have දවසින් 4ට යනවා වගේ සීන් කතා බෑ. දවසින් 4ට යන්න ඕන නම් ගහන්න ඕනේ drugs තමයි. Right? එහෙම 4ට යන්න බෑනේ, not achievable. Tomorrow I'm going to go to the moon. Is it achievable? No. Right? And it should be realistic, practical. Whatever the objectives you set should be practical and realistic. Right? නැතුව මේ කොයිද යන්නේ මල්ලේ පොල් වගේ objectives හදන්න බෑ. මම දවසින් I'm going to study the whole BS syllabus. Practical, realistic bullshit. You can't do it. Even I can't do it. Right? And finally, there should be a proper time bound. You need to have a proper timing for these children. Proper timing එකක් තියම් මේකට වැඩ කරන්න ඕනේ. මේ factors ටික තියෙද්දි තමයි ඔයගේ objective එක හරියන්නේ. Your steps or action to achieve these goals හරියන්නේ මේ objective එක තියෙද්දි තමයි ළමයි. And when you take a business ළමයි, they have various goals. What are the various goals of a business? One by one, let's go. One by one. One by one, various goals of a business. Right? Number 1, children. Number 1, various goals of a business. Number 1 is survival. Right? Every business will want to survive in the market. That means breathe. Right? If you want to achieve something in your life, number 1 thing, you need to be breathing. If you're dead, can you achieve it? You want to marry, let's say, Hrithik Roshan. You want to marry Deepika Padukone. If you want to do it, children, number 1, you need to breathe. හුස්ම ගත්තේ නැත්නම් තෝ මැරිලා. පුළුවන්ද? බෑ. That means your head should be above the water. Survival. A very common goal of a business. Right? Survival. Number 2 is profits lamai. Profit maximization. Every business would want to make higher profits. That means they want to maximize their income and minimize their expenses. Income maximized and expenses are minimized. And number 3, lamai, sales maximization. Right? Which means they will want to increase their revenue, increase the number of customers buying their product. That is sales maximization. Our revenue income figure එක financial statement එක උඩින් තියෙන එක maximize වෙන්න ඕනේ. Increase your customer base, increase the number of customers you have. All of these factors, children, all of these factors will what happen? Will maximize your sales. And next, increase market share. Market share එක වැඩි කරන්න ඕනේ. What do you mean by market share, children? Market share කියන්නේ the number of customers you have from the whole market. The number of customers you as a business have from the whole market. And your objective should be, children, increasing the number of customers you have from the whole market. That's a goal. Okay, that is a goal. And next, Lamai, customer satisfaction. Give the best customer the best product, give the customer the best quality. All of these factors will increase the customer satisfaction, children. Right? That factor should be there. And next, right, maximize, right? Maximize value of firm, right? Which means you need to increase your share value, increase the estimation of your firm. We will learn this in grade 13 also. Hold it for now, right? But you're going to increase your what? Value of your firm, value of your share, value of your ownership. That is another objective or a goal, children, right? And next one, children, employee welfare. Then there is something called personal satisfaction of the business, right? Not relevant, right? And children, a very, very important point. Sometimes in the exam, these 7 points, they will ask you as the aims of the business or objectives of the business, right? The examiner can be sometimes insane. They name it as aims or objectives as the business in the exam. ඒක මතක තියාගන්න ළමයි. ඒක මතක තියාගන්න. So is vision, mission, goals and objectives 100% crystal clear? Is vision, mission, goals and objectives 100% crystal clear or not? All of y'all, all of y'all, all of y'all. All of you all. Hamom. Every monkey here should tell me. Perfect. Now when you take goals and when you take objectives, there are differences between goals and objectives. One by one, let's go. One by one. Remember, goals are always long term, right? They are long term. While objectives, are they long term, children? Objectives are something which are you achieving in the long term or the short term. Let's say your goal is 3 A's, right? An objective to achieve the 3 A's is studying theory. Studying theory, is it a long term achievable or is it a short term achievable? Exactly. It is a short term achievable, Lamai. Right? It is a short term achievable. Right? Okay, then there are only few goals. Right? You have only few goals, but your objectives, the steps in order to achieve this 3A, study theory, pass papers, right? Model papers, right? Then you need to have mind maps, short notes, other factors you need to achieve. So there is only few goals, but there are many objectives. Eka mataka tiyaganna lamai, right? And remember, goals are something known as measurable, right? Yes, goals are not measurable. Mataka tiyaganna lamai. You can't measure a goal. Practically not correct, but theoretically that's how it is. Remember, goals are something you can't measure, right? You can't easily measure these 3A, but these objectives can be measured, right? Practically, you can even measure a goal, okay? Practically, you can even measure a goal. Then, next one, children, there is no time for this. Again, it's something theoretical. There is no a time boundary for this, right? But 3 A's within 2 years. Very simple, right? And here, to do this, there is a time boundary. Objective, study theory by when, past papers by when. And remember, goals are something you set first, while objectives are something you set second. Or goal set kala tamai objective set karanne. So remember, your vision, mission, goals, objectives, all four are interconnected. First, you set your final destination, then you set your purpose, your long-term expectations, and what are the steps of achieving your long-term expectations. So all the children is going to help you in your life. Is it clear? Is it clear? Is it clear? Anyone has any doubts here? Anyone has any doubts here? Right. Then next, with that, chapter 1 of unit 1 is done. Chapter 1 of unit 1 is khalas. Have finished it. Right. So one chapter is done. We have another, right? We have another, right? Many more to go to, right? Many more to go, right? Just give me 1 second, guys. I'm getting a call. Okay. Now we are going into, right, the second chapter, right? Chapter 2, business evolutions and trends, right? Business evolutions and trends, right? So very simple, right? Very simple chapter. We are going to see how this business evolved, right? We are going to see how this business evolved, right? Okay. Now, remember, people lived in initially something called a self-sufficient economy, or you call it a self-sufficient, or let's say, yeah, a self-sufficient economy. What do you mean by a self-sufficient economy, children? This is where people were fulfilling their own needs and wants. They were fulfilling their own needs and wants. They were basically involved in direct production. What do you mean by direct production? එයාට අවශ්‍ය බාණ්ඩය, එයාට අවශ්‍ය සේවාව, එයාගෙන්ම අවශ්‍යතයා පුරවා ගන්නවා. He is fulfilling his own needs and wants. That is known as a self-sufficient economy. And this self-sufficient economy, this direct production led to something. What did it lead to, children? What did it lead to? What did it lead to? Guys, online, where are y'all? What did this self-sufficient economy lead to? Hello? Buddhida? It led to something called Anna right, specialization. Why? People started fulfilling their own needs and wants, and they became better at something, right? They became better at something, right? Let's say one person was growing potato, and he became better at growing potato. Specialization. And when he specialized, he was able to do things faster, better, and with lesser wastages. What did specialization lead to, children? What did specialization lead to? What did specialization lead to? Specialization led to something called excess production. Specialization led to something called excess production, where people were making excessive amount of goods and services they did not even require, right? They did not ever require. Now the problem here was, children, some people made excess goods and services, and they had some goods and services, and they did not have certain goods and services, right? ඒගොල්ලොන්ගාව සමහර බාණ්ඩ තියෙනවා, සමහර බාණ්ඩ නැහැ. අර නැති බාණ්ඩ හොයාගන්නේ කොහමද නං ළමයි? අර නැති බාණ්ඩ හොයාගන්න මේගොල්ලෝ මොකද්ද කරේ? තියෙන බාණ්ඩේ දීලා whatever they had, they gave and ඕන බාණ්ඩේ ගත්තා. They gave something and they took something. They gave a good, they gave a part of their excess goods and got another person's good to fulfill their demands. That is where this led to barter system, children. This led to barter system. And barter system is known as the first step of evolution of business, right? The first evolution of business is barter system. This is where one good, right? This is where one good is transferred for another good, right? එක භාණ්ඩයකින් තව භාණ්ඩයක් ගන්නවා. එක භාණ්ඩයක් දීලා තව භාණ්ඩයක් ගන්නවා. In barter system, was money involved? Was money involved in barter system? Was money involved in barter system? No, right? And why did it lead to the failure of the barter system? What are the reasons for the failure of the barter system? Number one, children, lack of double coincidence of wants. Lack of double coincidence of wants. ඒ කියන්නේ ළමයි, හරි, මෙතන Mr. X ඉන්නවා, මෙතන Mr. Y ඉන්නවා, Mr. X, right? Let's say carrot. This bugger has potatoes, right? This bugger wants what they want. The X wants fish, while this bugger wants, let's say, carrot. Now, X can give carrot to this bugger, but does X want potatoes? X does not want potato. He wants fish. So your needs were not matching with another person's needs, right? What you had did not match with another person's needs. एक प्रश्न वाला माई. Because what you wanted was not wanted by another, was not be willing to give by another person. What they wanted, you did not have, right? ඔයාට අවශ්‍ය දේ තව එකෙක්ට නෑ. එයාට අවශ්‍ය දේ ඔබ ගාව නෑ. That is what you mean by lack of double coincidence of wants. That was a very big problem, children. And after that, there was a problem called difficulty in valuing goods. You were not able to value goods. How much is one t-shirt? How much is one cup? How much is one hen? Can you value it? Prashnak kuna. You were not able to value it, children. That was a very big problem, right? Valuing the good or service were a very big problem. Number three, children. Number three. Okay, the ability not able to store. You were not able to store certain goods for a long time. You were not able to store fruits for a long time because it rots. You were not able to store vegetables for a long time because it rots. But you were able to store a t-shirt for a long time. You were able to store a trouser for a long time, but not basically all of those factors. So Lamai, that was another problem. And finally, you were not able to divide, right? You were not able to divide. Let's say one cow was equal to, let's say, 2 t-shirts. Then if you one t-shirt, it's half a cow. Is there a use of cow then? Is there a use of cow when you get half a cow? Use එක ගත්තද ළමයි? cow ගත්තම. නැහැනේ. There is no use of a cow. So may half a cow කියන දේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් වුණා ළමයි. So in order to avoid it, right? Division was a problem, right? Division was a problem. And children, now I am telling you all, okay, how did they solve these limitations? What did they come up to solve these limitations? What did they come up to solve these limitations? What did they come up with to solve these limitations? How did they solve these limitations? Anna, right. In order to overcome the limitations of barter system, the second evolution of businesses was usage of money. This is where they bought in a certain factor to use it as a form of exchange. Money can be known as anything used as a form of exchange, Lamai, right? Anything used as a form of exchange. We will learn that in Unit 7, Money and Financial Institutions. Anything used as a form of exchange. And they used different forms of money. Number one was commodity money, where people were using commodities like salt, rice, pepper, cardamoms, right? All of these as a form of money. Number two, they were using something called metallic, right? Metallic money. So metallic was when children, they used pure metal. It can be pure. It can be pure gold, pure silver, pure iron as a form of exchange or money. It was not processed. Remember, metallic money was not processed. It was just pure pieces. And number three, they used something called the perfect money. Perfect money is where the metal was processed into a coin now. A gold coin, a silver coin, right? A bronze coin. After that, Lamai, they use something called, right, a currency, what we use today in Sri Lanka, right? A Sri Lankan rupee, a US dollar, right? A Singaporean something, ringgit or something, Malaysian ringgit, right? The United Dirham, all of these are there, United Arab Emirates Dirham. And after that, we are using something called e-money, and the world has evolved beyond this. And today we are using something called cryptocurrency also as a form of exchange. So after money, children, the third step of evolution. What is the third step of evolution? What is the third step of evolution after money was founded? Third step, children, Lamai. Third step of evolution. Come on, right? Third step was the Industrial Revolution, right? Industrial Revolution is where there were major changes, right? There were major changes in production, commerce, and society. Where did industrial revolution start, children? Where did industrial revolution start? Industrial revolution started in the Great Britain, right? Right, the Great UK. In the 18th and 19th century, you all would have learnt in history, the 18th and 19th century in the UK, that is where industrial revolution started, where there were very big changes in production, commerce, and society. So what are the changes in production, commerce, and society? Production. Number one, people were not using machineries earlier. Production, okay, now we are using machineries. Number two, earlier businesses were small. Now large factories have been built. Large factories, large machineries are being used now. Number three, there was something called division of labor. We'll talk about division of labor later. Specialization took place. Number four, products were produced in mass quantity. Now companies are making products in massive mass quantities, Lamai. And number five, right, they were making, right, they were making goods in a very higher, massive, and very big factories. And now coming into the changes in commerce, right, there was a usage of money. Now people started using money, right? Insurance was founded, in banking was founded there, right? Insurance, banking was founded, trade, import, export came in, wholesale, retail came in, right? Transportation networks grew. And finally, there was something called communication. All of these factors were the commerce changes, and finally, social changes, urbanization to the England, right? People started moving towards England. අර ගමේ ඉඳන් කොළඹට එනවා වගේ. ඒ වගේ scene එකක්. Urbanization. People started moving to cities, right? Especially in England, right? And there were higher job opportunities. Now there were massive amount of job opportunities, children. And number three, there were two classes which were built. There were two classes which were built in the society, the rich versus the poor, right? The rich got richer, the poor got poorer, right? And finally, there was development of new cities, and there was a very high environmental pollution because of the what? Because of the massive mass production. And finally, children, the last stage in today's recording is the information era. This is where businesses use information to make decisions, right? Businesses use information to make decisions with regard to an organization, right? Businesses are using decisions, make information regards to an organization. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the 4 stages. These are the 4 steps or 4 evolutions of the business, Lamai. Eka, clear or not? Is this clear or not? Right? The Great Britain is where Industrial Revolution happened. All of y'all tell me, is this 100% crystal clear or not? Perfect. Perfect, children. Perfect. Right? Very good. It's good to see y'all having and this thing. Now let's come into commerce and trade. Right? Let's come into commerce and trade. Right? So now, children, remember, ඔය commerce කියන දේ ගත්තොත් right? ඔය commerce කියන දේ ගත්තම ළමයි, right? You can divide this commerce into two. You can divide this commerce into two. Commerce is a combination of two things. What are that two things, children? What are that two things? Right? Number one is trade, and number two is basically auxiliary services, right? Auxiliary services. Auxiliary, or you call it the support services, right? Now, ඔය commerce කිව්වොත්, right? What the hell is this commerce? If you ask me, what is this commerce? Anything and everything which takes place within a business. A business එකක වෙන හැමදේම, right? From the point of bringing the goods and services to giving the goods and services outside, right? From bringing the goods and services to the producer to the final consumer, everything and anything which is taking place between these situations, right? Producer to the consumer. Everything which is taking place from producer to consumer is known as commerce. Anything and everything which takes place within a business can be known as commerce, right? And commerce basically is a combination of trade and auxiliary services. So trade can be divided into two, children, right? Trade can be divided into two, right? Home trade, right? And the foreign trade. When you take home trade, children, we will learn about two things, right? Retail, and we will learn about wholesale. While when you take foreign trade, there are two. Foreign trade, there are two. What are the two in foreign trade? What are the two in foreign trade? What are the two in foreign trade, children? Exactly. Imports. And there is something called exports. Imports and exports, right? So imports is where you're bringing in goods from another country. Exports is where sending out goods to another country. Retail is where you're selling for final consumption. You are selling for final consumption. I am selling you out for final consumption, right? That is retail. Wholesale is where you're selling for resale purposes. Right? You all would have seen wholesale shops and retail shops, right? So this is coming under trade. Then auxiliary services, right? We have number one, right? Insurance. We will learn in unit number, right? We will learn in unit number 8. We have communication. We will learn again this in unit number, right? We will learn this in unit number 9, right? Then we have transportation. We will learn this again. Then there is something called, right? We will learn this again, right? Banking is their children. And then there is something called warehousing, right? All of these we will learn once again, right? We will learn once again, right? So, wow, warehouse. Okay, warehousing, yes. Okay. So these are factors, right? So trade and auxiliary services. So trade is basically where exchange of goods and services happen. Exchange of goods and services. And basically, auxiliary services are the activities supporting the business to achieve its goals. So is these factors clear, Lamai? Is these factors clear? Is these factors clear? Children, factors clear? Clear or not? Perfect. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Right? And now we are going to talk about something called the e-business and e-commerce. Right? E-business and e-commerce. Right? E-business and e-commerce. Right? So there is something called e-business versus e-commerce. What the hell is this e-business and what the hell is this e-commerce, right? So e-business is where basically you are using the internet. You are using the internet to do what? You are using the internet to do what, children? Right? Internet to do what? You are using the internet to sell, sorry, to conduct business activities. You're using internet and all the, let's say, digital technologies to conduct business activities known as e-business. Examples, e-commerce. Even e-commerce is something coming under e-business. E-business, e-banking, let's say e-communication, e-money, all of these factors are coming under e-business where you're using internet and digital technology to conduct business activities. And e-commerce is also a part of e-business. This is where you're using the internet to do what, children? You're using the internet to do what? You're using the internet to do what? Yeah, e-marketing, digital marketing, everything comes under e-business, right? You're doing the you're doing e-commerce is where you're using the internet to do what? Exactly, using the internet to buy and sell, right? Buy and sell. When you're using internet or digital technology to buy and sell a product, you call it e-commerce, Lamai, right? And the different forms of e-commerce, right? Different forms of e-commerce are there, right? Number one is business to customer, right? A business is selling to customer using the internet. Business to business, business to customer, you can take Ikman, Temu, all of these, business to business, right? Alibaba, there are so many Chinese sites, right? Selling business to business. Then we have customer to customer, eBay, again, Facebook Marketplace. Ikman is a form of customer to customer. A customer is selling to another customer. And finally, business to government. So all of these are forms of e-commerce, right? All of these are forms of e-commerce, or you can categorize e-commerce as such, right? So then you can take the benefits of e-commerce, benefits, right? If you're taking the benefits of e-commerce, you can take it into three, right? You can take it to the business. What are the benefits to the business? What are the business benefits to the customer? And what are the benefits to the society, right? The benefits to the business from e-commerce, right? Number one, you are able to access a large number of customers. Now, not only locally, you can access customers from anywhere because you're working through the internet. And number two, sales can be undertaken. You can undertake sales. You can sell your product 247, 24/7, any time of the day. You don't need to be there. Sales will automatically take place. And number three, the cost associated will be low. You don't have costs like rent. You have no cost like electricity. You have no cost like water. Very minimalized cost, right? Then you can have access to international markets also, right? You are able to reach international customers. And finally, there's going to be a higher revenue and a higher profitability, right? So these are the benefits a business is going to get. What are the benefits a customer is going to get, right? You are able to buy a good anytime you want, right? And not required to go to a store physically, right? And you have more varieties and you can compare these prices easily, children, right? Then you can basically get these goods delivered to your doorstep, and there's a very high convenience. Those are factors. Society, there's employment opportunities, many employment opportunities because of e-commerce. And number two, you are able to access massive amount of goods and services at a lower price, right? These are the benefits. Then you can talk about the limitations to again business and the business and the customer. Business and the customer, right? Limitations got tooth, right? So mostly there are, we will take it from the business's point of view only. Customer's point of view also there are. Business's point of view, you can take technological limitations. You can divide it again into technological limitations and non-tech. What are the technological limitations? Number one, to make an e-commerce website or something, there's a very high initial investment. Number two, there is complicated hardware and software. You need servers, you need all of these blah, 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 blah factors, domains, and all of these, right? System failures can happen. Then there can be cyber risk, like cyber crimes, hacking, phishing, and all of these factors. The non-technological factors, right? You can't physically inspect the product. That can be a disadvantage to the business and customer too, right? No real-time shopping experience, again to the customer, right? And number three, no opportunity to negotiate customers' disadvantages, lack of knowledge and awareness before buying the product. Sometimes you can be ordering Shah Rukh Khan from, let's say, AliExpress or Daraz, but you end up getting Ranjan Ramanayaka. Enne order karanne Shah Rukh Khan, enne Ranjan Ramanayaka. The difference, right? So these are disadvantages of e-commerce, right? So that is e-commerce for you, Lamai. Clear or not, children? Is e-commerce for you clear or not? Guys, all of y'all can respond e-commerce clear or not? E-commerce ki na de clear than at the Okay. Now, children, we are going to talk about the new trends in business, right? New trends in business. Number one, globalization. Globalization is, children, where this is known as the interaction or the interconnectivity of the world, right? The interaction and the interconnectivity of the world, where the world interacts and interconnects, and we are able to experience different product from a different world. We are able to experience all these international products because businesses, countries, and let's say businesses, countries, and economies in the world are connected, right? The interaction and the interconnectivity between the world, businesses, and countries leads to globalization. The ability of a Sri Lankan person to consume an Apple phone from the US, to consume, let's say, a Nike product from the US or Adidas product from the US is because of globalization, a new trend. Number two is e business, conducting all the business activities using the internet and digital technology is a new thing. If you want to transfer money today, you don't go to the bank. Like your pay my fees might not go into the bank, right? Online transfers, new trend. Next one, e-money. Your debit cards, your credit cards, and everything. E-money. Now, I'm a person, I don't carry a lot of cash in my hand, right? I don't carry a lot of cash in my hand, children, right? I basically what? Having my card. Whatever I do, pumping petrol, eating, drinking, right? Anything, card. Cash the card. The baking hanani cash the card nang can cancel karno. Sri Lankan is way back. Then number four, concern on the environment and the society. Now businesses are concerned on the environment and the society. We learn this in business social responsibility, where the business is caring a lot about the society, caring a lot about the environment. Then we have technological advancements, right? Businesses are using a lot of technology, using a lot of advanced technologies, using Zoom today to carry out classes. Earlier, this did not happen. And finally, business process outsourcing, right? Business process outsourcing. We call it BPO, right? This is where you basically give someone else to do a task on behalf of you. For an example, I have to make tutes for you, but I am giving to someone else to do it on behalf of you, right? Basically, we are something a business does is being outsourced, given to someone else, right? Businesses cleaning services are given to someone else. Business process outsourcing. You will learn this in detail when you come to grade 13 and all, right? These are the new trends in a business, Laman, right? So with that, chapter 2 also comes to an end, right? In chapter 2, we spoke about business evolution. There are 4 steps: barter system, and how does barter system being created because of self-sufficient economy, and specialization creates barter system fails, then evolution of money comes, and with that industrial revolution comes, and the information era comes. And after that, children, we spoke about commerce. Anything and everything which takes place in a business is known as commerce. Commerce is a combination of trade and auxiliary services. Then we spoke about e-business, e-commerce, benefits of e-commerce to the business, consumer, society, limitations of e-commerce. Then we spoke of the types of e-commerce: B2C, B2B, C2C, B2G. Then we spoke about new trends, right? This is basically chapter 2 of your unit 1. Is it 100% crystal clear? Have you all recapped it? Now, I'm again telling you all, this is not a theory session. This is just a recapping session, right? Something like a seminar. Just recapping in a very quick way, making you all refresh your minds. Is it 100% crystal clear, Lamai? Is it 100% crystal clear? Okay. Now, children, shall we go for a break? Do you all want a break? My throat hurts a lot. Okay. So now, children, we are going to go into a new chapter. We are going to go into a new chapter, right? So now we are going to talk about. right? The classifications of a business. Now we are going to talk about something called the classifications of the business, right? We have to classify the businesses. Chapter 3, classifications of the business. Now, when you're taking a business, you can classify it based on various factors, right? So in our syllabus, we talk about 5 classifications. Number 1 is the nature of production. Nature of production. So based on nature of production, you can classify the businesses into 3. What are the 3, children? Primary. What is the second one, children? What is the second one? Primary. What is the second one? What is the second one? Secondary. And finally, we have something called tertiary. Primary, secondary, and tertiary. So children, remember very, very well, we are going to classify the businesses based on nature of production into 3, right? So primary is all about extracting raw materials directly from the earth. Your fishing, agriculture, mining, petroleum, directly extracting raw materials from the earth. Primary. Secondary is where that extracted raw material is converted into a final good or a semi-finished good. Malu ganneka fishing is primary. Canning that fish is secondary. Right? Converting that raw materials into a finished good or a semi-finished good is known as secondary. Then what is tertiary, children? What is tertiary? What is tertiary? What is tertiary? What do you mean by tertiary, children? Tertiary is all about providing services. Am I involved in the tertiary sector? Yes. Right? So it's about providing services. That is number 1. How do you basically categorize or classify the business based on nature of production? Number 2, children. Number 2 is the production sector. Number 2 is the production sector, children. And this production sector will involve 3 things, right? Agriculture. Number 2, it will involve something called industries. And number 3, it will involve something called services. I have clearly told you all, this area, I will cover it closer to the exam. Why? We need to use actual figures of Sri Lanka, right? When we are talking about these sectors, we need to use the actual figures of Sri Lanka and Lamai. These actual figures of Sri Lanka, we have to use the latest figures that we will do it closer to the exam, right? Then after that, children, we can divide it based on, right? Ownership. Ownership is where Lamai, we take 2 forms, right? Ownership, 2 forms. Number 1 is the private sector. Private sector is types of businesses owned, controlled by who? Private sector businesses, who own it, who controls it? Who owns it and who controls it? Exactly. Individuals, people like us. When we own a business, when we control a business, we call it the private sector businesses. Example, BS with Akil. Then there is something called Etco Academy of Me, Teals, and all of these, blah, 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 blah. Private sector. Secondly, children, the public sector. These are businesses which are owned and controlled by who? Who owns the public sector? All of y'all have to bloody tell me. Don't be useless monkeys. Be useful monkeys and tell me. Public sector, kaudu. Kaudu. Exactly. When the government controls and owns a business, that is known as public sector ownership. Sri Lankan Airlines, Sri Lankan Insurance, Sri Lankan Telecom, Bank of Ceylon, National Savings Bank, all of these public sector ownings, right? That is basically ownership, Lamai. After ownership, we can go with the objective. Businesses have 2 forms of objectives. Number 1, profit motive. They want to make a profit. They want to increase their wealth. They want to increase their income. Number 2 is not profit motive. Not for profit motive, right? In here, children, they don't want to increase their profits. They don't want to increase their incomes. They want to give something called a social welfare, right? A social welfare, do good to the society, right? These factors. And last one, children, what is the last one? Last one is the scale. Last one is the scale. So based on the scale, number one, right? Number one, small businesses, unit 6, we will learn. Number two, medium businesses, unit 6, we will learn. And number three, large scale businesses, small, medium, large scale businesses. We will learn that in unit 6, right? So these are basically the classification of a business, right? Any questions here? Okay. So with that, chapter 3 is also done. We classified businesses based on nature of production, production sector, ownership, objectives, and scale. Right? Not rocket science. Very simple, very easy. Right? So that is basically businesses. Classification. Now chapter 4, Amai. Chapter 4. Chapter 4, children, we are going to talk about business as a process, the business process as an input and an output, right? So we are going to talk about how does this business creates this good and service. How is this good and service created, right? We take the business input process output form here, right? So input, you create something called a process and you create something called an output, right? Now, children, when you take the business as inputs, what are the forms of inputs? Tell me one by one. One by one. Number one. Number one. What is number one? What is number one, children? What is number one? Exactly, land. So, all the natural resources used in the production process, anything which is get taken by the nature is known as land, children. Okay, you're taking, let's say, soil, you're taking water, yeah, whatever it is, metals. When you take it from the land, from the earth, anything a business takes from the earth used in the production process, land. Number two, children. Number two. What is number two? Number two. What is number two? Anna, right? All of y'all have to answer. All of y'all have to answer. If y'all are going to learn with me, y'all have to answer. Y'all have to answer. Number two is the labor. All the physical and all the mental effort used in the production. All the physical and mental effort used in production is known as labor. Now, Sharon, I'll ask you all a question. I will ask you all a question. Am I using my mental effort or am I using my physical effort to teach? What am I using? Mental or physical effort? Mental or physical effort? Exactly. ගිරවෙක් වගේ කෑ ගන්නවනේ. Physical effort. And ඕක කෑ ගන්න මම හිතන්න ඕනේ mental effort. I'm using both, children. Number 3. What is number 3? Third input. What is the third input? Third input එක මොකද්ද? අන්න right. අන්න right. Right? Capital. Capital. All the man-made aid used in production. මිනිසා මොකක් හරි හදලා තියනවා නම් ඒක production එකේ පාවිච්චි කරනවා නම් ඒකට අපි කියන්නේ capital කියලා ළමයි. Right? Machineries, right? Let's say buildings, factories, vehicles. Do we use money here? Do we use money here? Yes or no? අපි money කියන දේ ගන්නවද මෙතනට ළමයි? ළමයි? Do we take money? Yes. Money is also considered as a capital in business studies, right? In business studies, remember very well, money is considered as a capital. But when you take economics, in economics, is money considered as a capital? Money is not considered as a capital in economics, but in business studies, money is considered as a capital, right? Money. And finally, there's another dude. Another input. What is the fourth input? Exactly. The entrepreneurship, right? So an entrepreneurship is where it is the process who combines all other inputs. He combines all other inputs and takes the risks and starts a business, right? In BS with Akhil, I am the entrepreneur. I am combining land, I'm combining labor, capital, taking a risk and starting that business. We will learn about entrepreneurship, right? In one chapter, we will learn there's a chapter called Entrepreneurship Children, right? uh, Unit number 5, entrepreneurship we will learn, right? Coming forward, right? Mataka tiyaganna, ඒවා ටික, right? So entrepreneurship is something we will learn. And number 5, what else? What else do we use, right? We use something called information. All information is used to make decisions of the business, right? Then we use something called time. My time I'm putting here is input. My information I put here is input. Time. And last one, knowledge. All of these factors are known as children, inputs of a business, right? These are the factors a business will input, put it in, right? Inputs. And in order to process it, you go through something called number 1, production. You need to produce the good, right? You go through production. Number 2, you go through finance. Number 3, you go through sales and marketing. Then number 4, you go through research and development. Number 5, you go through, right? Number 5, you go through human resource, HR, right? You go through HR. So all of these factors will basically be your process. And when you process it using all these, we will learn this in grade 13, individual chapters in grade 13, right? What is the output, children? What is the output? What is the output? Output එක මොකක්ද ළමයි? මෙතනින් එන output එක මොකක්ද? What is the output? What is the output, guys? Children, tell me, what is the output? Exactly, a good or a service, right? Good or service is the output. So this is basically your input process output. This is how it happens, Lamai, right? Now we are going to classify our goods and services, right? So this is input process output. Is it clear? Is this clear? Is this clear, Lamai? Is this 3 clear? Metuna clear or not? Clear or not? Anna, right. Now we are going to classify basically the goods and services, right? We can have to classify the goods and services, right? Hurry. Now, when you take a product, Lamai, application of a product, when you take a product mainly, you can classify it into two. You can classify it into two, right? Number 1 is goods, and number 2 is basic services. හොඳටම අහගන්න ළමයි, I will go very nicely, slowly and steadily, right? Any tangible offering or any physical product, a tangible thing or a physical product, tangible or physical, right? Tangible or physical, used in the production of goods and services is known as goods. Tangible or physical used, right? Any good which is tangible or physical, you call it a good. Any product which is intangible is known as a service. If you can't touch and feel it, it's a service. You can't touch and feel my teaching, right? Now you can't touch and feel the doctor's medical services, right? You can touch and feel the doctor, that's a different story. But what he's providing, you can't touch and feel. But a good. This marker, you can touch and feel. This watch, you can touch and feel. This shirt, you can touch and feel. It's a good, right? ඒක මතක තියාගන්න ළමයි. Now, when you are basically, right, classifying your goods, right? When you are classifying your goods, you can classify your goods into two, right? You can classify the goods into two, right? You can classify the goods into two. How do you classify the goods into two, children? The two ways of classifying goods, tell me. Two ways of classifying goods. Two ways. Number one is going to be durable. The long lasting goods. These are the long lasting goods based on the durability, right? And the next one is the usage. Based on the lasting is durable. Usage is different forms, right? Durability and usage, right? Durable එක ආයෙත් දෙකට බෙදන්න පුළුවන් ළමයි. Durability එක ආයෙත් දෙකට බෙදන්න පුළුවන්. Number one is durable. Okay. Number one is durable and number two is non-durable. Durable කියන්නේ ළමයි, you can use this for a long period of time. You can use these goods for a long period of time. Example, your watch, your phone, a machinery, a car can be used for a long period of time. Then non-durable children. Non-durable, you can't use it for a long period of time. Can you use a soap for years and years? Can you use a shampoo for years and years? Can you use a toothpaste for years and years? No. Only goods with a short span of life. Goods with a short life cycle. Goods with a long life cycle. That's how we differentiate this. Usage එක අනුව ළමයි, you can again divide it into two. Right? Consumer. Right? Consumer goods. Okay, you can take it as consumer goods and basically capital goods or the industrial goods or the business goods. Right? Business goods. So under consumer goods, you can again have 4 points. Number one is convenient goods. Right? We can take it as convenient goods. Right? Convenience goods. What are the convenient goods? These are the goods you purchase on a frequent basis. හැමතිස්සම ගන්නවා. Can be soap, can be food, can be let's say a shampoo, can be a toothpaste. You buy this very frequently, right? හැමතිස්සම ගන්න බාණ්ඩ තමයි free convenience good කියන්නේ. Number two is the shopping goods. Shopping goods are the goods, children, where you compare price, where you compare quality, where you compare, let's say, durability and buy it, right? And you buy these, you put in a time and effort to buy this. Clothing, right? Clothing, food, certain XYZ factors, ඒ වගේ. Shopping. Next one is ළමයි speciality good, right? Speciality good. Right? Speciality good is you're putting in a very significant amount of time. You're putting in a significant amount of knowledge to buy this. Right? Then lamai, for an example, right? In order to buy a phone, will you go and buy a phone like this? No. You put in patta research එකක් දානවා ඒක ගන්න. patta knowledge එකක් දානවා ළමයි ඒව ගන්න. නිකන් ගන්නෙ නෑ. Effort, knowledge ඒව ඔක්කොම දාලා තමයි ගන්නෙ. Right? Those factors are there. So basically convenience and non-durable goods are the same. Not same, but somewhat the same, right? Same, not same, but somewhat the same, right? Don't consider, just get it differently, okay? Speciality, right? And finally, unsought goods. You don't even think of buying these goods. Now, do you think of buying a dictionary? No. Do you think of buying a funeral service? No. Hitanne. Until the need comes, you don't even think about it. Or මැරණකම් ඔය කියලා ගන්නේ නැනේ coffin එකක්. You won't go and buy a coffin until you die, no. Do you buy a coffin and keep at home before you die? Do you go and buy a coffin and keep it at home before you die? Okay, මම මැරෙද්දි මේ coffin එකේ තමයි යන්නේ කියලා. නැහැනේ. Unsought goods, which you are not even thinking of before that need occurs, right? That is basically the types of consumer goods. Business goods, you have capital items, all the machineries and everything used, right? Capital items, all the machineries, factories, and all these shit used in a business. Then you have materials and parts, any materials and all of these stuff used to make another product. And finally, you have something called supplies and services, right? Other services and supplies like security services, right? Like let's say cleaning services. All of these are known as children business goods. Not rocket science. We have learned about this. Just a recap session, right? Then when you take services, lamai, there are two types of services. Number one service is the direct service, where this is being directly given to the consumer. Okay, these services are directly provided to the consumer. Teaching here, right? You're going to a hospital and getting treated by a doctor. That is there, right? going to a salon and getting a haircut, directly given to the consumer. And then there is something called indirect services. These are something mostly not directly given to the consumer, right? These are mostly given to the businesses, right? You can take banking services, postal services, insurance services, transportation services. Factors given to the businesses can be known as indirect. Then features of a service. Features gatut. Tell me features one by one. Tell me the 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 features one by one. Number one is intangibility. You can't touch and feel a product, service, right? There is no physical existence of this service. Number two, Lamai. Number two, it's inseparability. Inseparability is where consumption and production both should happen in the same time. You can't consume it in a separate time. You can't produce it in a separate time. Consumption, production both happens in the same time, right? Number three is you can take it as perishability. You can't store them. You store services for the future. And finally, variability. Services are not the same. The way I'm teaching y'all unit 1, I won't teach another batch the unit 1. It'll differ. Services keep on changing, Lamai. Right? Every service is unique to another. Right? So these are basically the classification of a product, goods, services, durability, usage, consumer business, direct, indirect, features. Right? Any questions here, children? Any questions here? Any questions here? Any questions? Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Right? Perfect. Now, children, we are going to the next chapter, chapter number 5. Shareholders in a business. Sorry, stakeholders in a business. Right? Stakeholders of a business. Right? Stakeholders of a business. Right? Now, chapter 5, stakeholders of a business. Right? Stakeholders. May stakeholder කියන එක්කෙනා ගත්තොත්. Who is the stakeholder, children? Who is the stakeholder? Who is the stakeholder? කවුද? Who is the stakeholder? මේ stakeholder කියන්නේ කවුද? I divided the definition into 3. Number 1 part. Someone who is interested in you. Someone who is interested in you is known as a stakeholder. Number 2. Who can affect you? Can affect you or your business. Number 3. Can be affected by you. Right? He's interested in what you do, right? Can affect you, can affect what you're doing, can affect your life, can affect your business. And you can affect them. They can be affected by you. So when you take a business, what are the different forms of stakeholders, Lamai? What are the different forms of stakeholders? You have owner. Owner is interested, can affect, can be affected. Manager. Right? Then you have what else? Owner, manager, employee, customer, supplier, the government, competitor, society, pressure groups. All of these are basically investors. Yeah, investors. All of these are stakeholders who are interested, can affect you, and can be affected by you. Just think, Lamai, how are these buggers going to be interested in you? Why are they interested in you? Why? How can they affect you? How can they be affected by you? I have taught you all this. Okay? So just connect the dots, right? Now, when you're basically taking a stakeholder, you can divide the stakeholders into 2. internal and external. Right? Internal and external. So internal kiyanne lamai, they are the people who are inside the business. They are inside the business and they have something called, right? They have something called dealings. They have something called dealings. They deal with the business inside the business. External, they are people outside the business. Right? So owner, is he external or internal? Owner external or internal? Give me IOE. Owner. Internal the external. ඇතුළේද එළියද? Internal. Manager ඇතුළේද එළියද? Manager ඇතුළේද එළියද? ඇතුළේ. Employee ඇතුළේද එළියද? එළියේ. ඇතුළේ. Sorry, ඇතුළේ. Customers, inside or outside? External. Suppliers, inside or outside? Outside. Government, outside. Then we have competitors, outside. Society, outside. Investors, outside. Pressure groups, outside. Right? So all of these factors. Then you all should know why a stakeholder is interested in the business. What are the reasons stakeholders are interested in the business and why are they important? ඔය factors ටික මතක තියාගන්න ළමයි. Right? Interested and why are they important? Right? The next concept is children. Okay. Next concept is the shareholder concept. Shareholder concept versus stakeholder concept. Shareholder concept versus stakeholder concept. Right? So shareholder concept is where the business is only considering the shareholder and ignoring all other stakeholders. The only motive of the business lamai is make higher profits for the shareholders. අනිත් එක අනිත් තුන් සතපාකට ගණන් ගන්නේ නෑ මෙයා. Business එක සතපාකට customers ලව, employees ලව, managers ලව එක එක්කවත් ගණන් ගන්නෑ. The only motive of the business making higher profits. In the short term, they will be able to make profits, but in the long term, they won't survive. There won't be a survival, right? That is shareholder concept. Stakeholder concept is where you're considering the shareholders also, and you are fulfilling the needs of the stakeholders also, right? Stakeholder කියන කාර්යවත් ගණන් ගන්නවා. Shareholder කියන කාර්යයක් ගණන් ගන්නවා. You're taking care of the employees, you're taking care of the managers, you're taking care of the customers, suppliers, government, everyone. And you're taking also care of the owner. Making profits while taking care of everyone. Here, only making profits. Shareholder only making profits. Stakeholder making profits while only taking care of everyone. And remember, children, I told you all, the stakeholder concept will give you, in the short term, this will have a higher cost. But don't consider this as a cost, consider this as an investment. But in the long term, you will have a higher profits. Take care of customers today, they will come back to you tomorrow, right? So you have to sacrifice today to enjoy tomorrow. You enjoy today, you will suffer tomorrow. Suffer today, you will enjoy tomorrow. But enjoy today, you will suffer tomorrow. Ketty Kalina, we always lose our long-term happiness because of a short-term satisfaction. Short-term satisfaction, long-term gone. Short-term hard work, long-term yes. Eka mataka තියාගන්න ළමයි. Right? So is stakeholders clear ළමයි? Stakeholders in one part. And remember their importance and reasons also you need to remember. Why are they interested in the business and their importance? Why are they required? Is this 100% crystal clear? 100% crystal clear. Yes or no? All of y'all. All of y'all. අනිත් කට්ටිය Anit Kattiya. Perfect. Now, next area, guys, we are going to talk about business environment, right? Now, environment means the surrounding of the business. Environment kiyanne the surrounding of the business, right? So, surrounding of the business, right? The surrounding of the business, right? Right? You call this the surrounding of the business. Now, children, why do you need to study the environment? There are four factors. Number one, in order to identify something called the strengths of your business, you need to study the environment, right? In order to identify something called a weakness of the business, you need to identify the environment. In order to identify something called the opportunities, right? Opportunities, you need to study the environment, and something called threats, you need to study the environment. So strengths and weaknesses are the good things inside you. The strengths and weaknesses are the good things coming from you, right? Opportunities, threats are the good and the bad from outside, which is coming from outside. You will be able to analyze your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. You call it the SWOT. You will be able to identify the SWOT by studying your business environment, right? Now, you can classify the business environment, children. You can classify the business environment, right? Like this, right? You can classify it mainly into two: internal, that within the business, and you can classify it as what? What is the next one, children? What is the next one? What is the next one, children? Internal and exactly, Anna, right? External, right? You can classify it as internal and external. Again, you can divide this external into two, right? You can divide this external into two, right? What are the two, guys? Guys, two is, you can call it the task, and you can call it the close environment, and you can even call it the macro environment, right? Task, close, macro. And remember, guys, the internal, there is something called micro, and micro is the combination of internal plus task, right? Micro is the combination of internal plus task, right? So internal, let's start with internal first of all, children, right? So internal are the factors who are the people who are the, let's say, factors within the business. They are inside the business. Inside the business, plus they have a significant influence. They are inside the business and they have a significant influence, right? Atule patta influence at lamai. Significant influence, and they are inside the business, right? So eka mataka tiyaganna, and they can directly control the business, right? So they can directly control the business lamai, right? So eka mataka tiyaganna. And remember, external kiyanne, they are outside the business, and they can indirectly control the business. Indirectly control the business. Eka mataka tiyaganna lamai. Right? They can indirectly control the business. Right? But they have a certain small amount of control. Okay, not a very big control, like internal, but shape peke puluang. So internal factors lamai. Number one. Okay. Number one internal factor is the owner, right? Owner of the business, right? Owner is the person who brings in all the resources, combines all the resources, and starts a business. he also can be considered as an entrepreneur, right? So he is a person who takes a risk, right? Now there can be strengths and weaknesses of also. If he's bringing in good amount of investment, putting in a good time, he has a good knowledge, good. Opposite of it is bad. Number two, Lamai, the manager. Manager is responsible to run the business. Second person, responsible to run the business, right? Manager, if he's experienced, if he's trained, it's a good thing. Not experienced, not trained, a bad thing. If he has good knowledge, good skills, good thing. If doesn't he have, bad thing. If he can take correct decisions, good thing. If he can't, it's a bad thing. Number three, Lamai. Who is number three? Who is number three, children? Who is number three? Who is number three? Kaudu, Lamai. Anna, right. Others, tell me, guys. Employee. Employees are known as the backbone of the organization. They are the people who will do the work of the organization and help the organization achieve its goals. Right? These are the people responsible to carry out all the tasks. They are responsible to carry out all the activities of the business, Lamai. Right? That is basically an employee. Right? Next, we have the organizational culture. The organizational culture. Organizational culture means the beliefs, the attitudes, the norms, the behaviors within the organization. In simple terms, children, organizational culture means the way how you do things in an organization, the way how you do things, right? If you have a right positive culture, it's a good thing. If you have a wrong culture, it's a bad thing. And if you're having a good ethical culture, again, it's a good thing. Unethical culture, bad thing. The way how you do things in an organization, culture, the beliefs, the attitudes, the norms, that. Then we have the organizational structure, right? We will learn again this in chapter number 12, management structure and all. Structure means it shows a system. It's a system which is showing how decisions, power, resources are passed. Example, your home. Your father is the highest decision maker, brings in the resources. He has the power. He passes it down. Shows what is the structure, right? Father, mother, first sibling, second sibling, third sibling. Structure. Like that, organizations all have a structure. Chairman, CEO, directors, managers, junior managers, let's say managers, assistant managers, right? Executives, interns, and finally, resources, right? Resources are all the right. Resources can be considered as everything which are used in the business to produce a good, right? Those are the resources, right? Now, children, that is the internal factor. And remember, there are strengths and weaknesses. Because they are inside the business, we consider their strengths and weaknesses. Is this clear, children? Is this clear? Is this clear? Hurry. Now, external, outside the business and no direct control. Task Lamai. Number one. You have number one in task. Someone call a customer. He is a person who will buy the goods and services from you, right? Now here we have to identify something called the opportunities and the threats. The good things coming from outside. There are people coming from outside. The good things and the bad things coming from outside. Opportunities and threats. Customer. What are the good things? If you have a good customer base, loyal customer base, it's good. If they are very supportive, it's good. If they have a favorable change, it's good. Number two, the opposite of it is bad. That's a threat. Number two is a supplier. Supplier, Lamai. Supplier is basically person who is supplying the goods and services to you, the raw materials to you. If they are reliable, if they are trustworthy, it is good. And if they are loyal, it's good. If they are giving you discounts, it's good. The opposite of it is bad. That's a threat. Number three is competitors, right? Who is doing the same exact thing as you. Number 4 lamai, substitute producers. Okay. Now Coca-Cola, Pepsi, competitors, but they are alternative goods. Substitute can alternatives. BMW, Mercedes-Benz, alternative. Substitute producers. Right? They are basically also a form of task. Right? Then we have intermediaries, the middlemen. We will learn that also. Intermediaries, the middlemen who are helping you pass, they are known as the middlemen of the business, right? They will basically connect you and the market. අර මැද ඉන්න එක market එකයි customer වයි ඔයාවයි connect කරන මිනිහා intermediary ළමයි. And finally investors. All of these people are outside the business but has a certain percent of influence, right? You need to know the opportunities and threats of them, right? So is task shape, task එක shape ඒගොල්ලෝගේ opportunities and threats හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න ළමයි. නැත්තම් කෙල වෙනවා. Right? Opportunities and threats මතක තියාගන්න ළමයි නැත්තම් කෙල වෙනවා. Right? Is it clear? Shape the ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැද්ද? Right. Next children, we have something called the macro environment. So under the macro environment, children, we'll be talking about various factors. Right? We'll be talking about various 8 factors. Number 1 is the economical environment. So in the economical environment, children, we are talking about all the economic factors and all the economic decisions made by the political leaders in a country. Economic factors like income, GDP, inflation, gross domestic product, cost of living, employment, all of these factors will be spoken in economics, right? So taxes, savings, all of these factors. The economical impact, right? The economical factors which is going to cause a positive or negative impact to the environment is spoken there. Number 2 is the political environment. We are talking about all the political decisions made by the political leaders here, right? Political policies and actions. What is the stabilities? What are their, let's say, agencies and what are their agreements, decisions? Everything is spoken. Yeah. Number 3, we are talking about the rules and regulations in a country, right? Legal environment. All the rules and regulations of a country is spoken here, right? And number 4, technological environment. You need to always consider the technology as a factor. Changes in technology, you need to be adapted. If you are not up to date with the technology, you're going to be a failure. Nokia, Kodak, and all of these. Very good examples, right? Number 5, we are talking about people. What is that environment? Talking about people and population. Sorry, more than people, talking about population. What is that? What is that? What is that environment which is talking about the population, Lamai? Population. Exactly, demographic. Demographic environment is all about talking about the population. Right? I have clearly explained you all that in detail. Remember those. Right? And then next children, something called the natural environment. We are talking about all the ecological factors, the trees, right? The trees, the animals, the birds, the waterfalls, the research, to everything natural. Number 7, social and culture. We are talking about the people, what people like, right? What they do, like all of these factors, right? Social and cultural. And fun. Okay, we are going to talk about, in here we talk about the cultures, beliefs, attitudes, norms, all of these factors. And finally, the global environment, right? The global environment, right? Global environment is, we are talking about globalization, right? We are talking about global trade, global politics, everything which is happening in an international context, right? With a business. We are talking about beyond borders, international things. That is known as global environment. Everything happening beyond your border in an international water or in the international forms is spoken there, right? Global supply chain, the global politics, the global brands, everything of it is spoken here. So I am not going to talk about in detail in this Lamai because this is a long area, just giving you all a summarized way. It took almost 2 sessions to complete this, right? So it's a long area. So remember, children, this is basically unit 1 for y'all, right? So unit 1, introduction to business and business environment. We started with intro to business, business concepts. We spoke about the concept of the business. We spoke about what is a business. Then we spoke about the characteristics of a business, vision, mission, goals, and objectives. Second, we spoke about business evolution. How a business was evolved, right? We spoke about self-sufficient economy. We spoke about specialization led to barter system, usage of money because of the failure of barter system, industrial revolution, 1890 area, Britain, and information era, right? And after that, we spoke about what? E-commerce, e-business. We spoke about those factors there, right? Then we came into chapter 3, classification of a business, nature of production, right? Then we spoke about nature of production sectors, ownership, motive, scale based on that. Then we spoke about chapter 4, inputs process outputs, right? How a business classifies its inputs, process, and outputs. Then we spoke about product, right? Product, goods, services, right? Goods are divided based on durability, usage, durability, durable, non-durable, usage, consumer, business, business sector, yata tibba settika, consumer yata settika tibba, services, direct, indirect, features, right? Then we spoke about stakeholders, interested, can be affected by the business, right? Internal connected, and last is business environment, right? We spoke about all these factors in unit 1. So with that, guys, I conclude a small summary. This is where not I don't teach unit 1. I'm concluding a summary of unit 1 in here, right? We are talking about a summary in unit 1 in here, right? So Lamai Maker is a session which is going to cover the whole unit 1 in a summarized manner, giving you a flash. It's a flash session, a glimpse of unit 1 for y'all. Not in detail, but in overview, right? So that is unit 1 for y'all. Thank you.